Brian Kelly radio show live from O'Rourke's Public House, and we have a special show tonight because for the entire show we have the head coach of the 6th-ranked and undefeated Fighting Irish, Brian Kelly, here to answer both my questions and, more importantly, your questions. So the work is pretty much done. It's not like you take Friday off. It's Focus Friday. There's more things to do, but the bulk of the work is done. How are you feeling about your team?
I feel great. I like this team. I mean, they know that their preparation is difficult, but they have to put in the time and effort to play the way they want to play. And so it was hot this week. You know, we had an 80-degree day the other day, and certainly played a physical opponent in Stanford, but they grinded it out. And I think that's all you can ask for them is that they went back out there and didn't think about what happened last week. They focused on what they needed to do to beat Virginia Tech. So everything is about preparation for Virginia Tech. There wasn't talk about what happened last week and we did this and we did that. There was no talk of that. So it's fun to go out there each day and know that their focus is how they can prepare to get better as a football team.
And I know you have had teams who have listened to the outside forces. And after a game like last week, where you dominated a ranked team, ranked ahead of you on national television, they've been loaded with accolades. How does this team handle that?
Well, I think they're a confident group, which is a good thing because, you know, I've had some football teams that, have been highly ranked, but I don't know what their real confidence level was. This is ultimately a confident football team that believes in if they stick to their process and do the things the right way, that they can beat, any team that comes along their way. So I think I sense that in this group that maybe at times we didn't have that in years past. And that's great because, look, I'd rather have a confident football team than one that is full of false confidence. And so, you gotta make sure that they embrace it by doing the work, as we said earlier. And they do. They come to practice. They work hard. They focus on what's most important at that time. And then they flip the switch. And flipping the switch is they go from a practice mode to a competitive mode. And again, we can use, my time here is that I've had some teams that practice really well but didn't play well. And then I've had some teams that have been so-so at preparation and that have played well at times, and have had a good week and a bad week. This right now is probably the best combination that I've had since I've been here, and now we hope to keep it rolling.
And we are sitting just south of a campus where all the students on campus are challenged every day in the classroom. All of your athletes are challenged in the classroom. There's a few other places like that, the service academies, certainly Stanford, although Stanford came in here last week after their first week of practice, first week of school.
Yeah.
They had played for most of the month without classes. And so your guys every day come to class, and again, there's the 2.0 rule. I mean, to stay eligible for activities, they have to get a solid C each and every individual semester, even that tough semester where they've got all those tough classes. So there's a lot on their minds. How do you help them, and how good a job do they do on being able to turn that off, focus on this, and then when they walk off that practice field, they got to turn the academics back on?
Yeah, well, you have to have a really strong mental game to succeed at Notre Dame, and that takes time to really understand. And a lot of people don't ever understand that. And what I mean by a strong mental game, the players have to have a strong mental game. And in particular, they have to understand that they have to, when they walk into that building, through those archways, they have to leave all of that behind them. They can't take it with them. And we give them some exercises. For example, if there's some things on the mind, write them on a piece of paper, put them on your locker, and guess what? They'll be there when you get back. So you got to leave them there because if you take them to the practice field, it's not going to help you prepare in the right way. So, we give them as many strategies as possible to help them with the mental game because it's so important because they are. I mean, look, this week, a lot of exams, so our guys, some of them got 2-3 hours of sleep, and we have to help them with recovery. That's why we put in a recovery room this year in terms of giving our kids a chance to get the right kind of recovery. We have a float tank that allows our guys to get into a an opportunity to replicate some REM sleep. So all of those things are important to the recovery of our football team because it is a pretty rigorous day that they have before they get to practice.
Coaches are teachers, and I know we've talked. You see yourself as a teacher. So while the team didn't look back to last week, maybe we'll just do it a little bit here to talk about the progress of some of your students. One of them, Jerry Tillery, Renaissance man. Lots of different interests. And he has learned in his time here that he can have those interests, but this is a short window for his football career. And the last couple of years, he has really focused. And, of course, he tied a school record against Stanford with 4 sacks, earning him the Walter Camp National Player of the Week award, along with the Bronco Nagurski National Defensive Player of the Week honors. I know you've spent lots of time with him. You like him. He challenges you in many different ways. How proud are you of him about both the man and the player he is becoming?
Well, he's come a long way since we recruited him out of Evangel High School in Shreveport, Louisiana. I'll never forget going into his bedroom and seeing a Notre Dame bedspread and knowing that this is the place that he wanted to go and feeling an obligation that we had to develop him in a way that when he left here, he was a man, and we've seen that. You know, there's been some ups and downs, but you know, he's gotten his degree here. He's you know, obviously somebody that now is being respected so much more by his peers and getting to a point where, you know, he can get into an NFL locker room and represent Notre Dame in the manner that we want. As a football player now, he's really, really focused on that. As you mentioned earlier, as a student, he wanted to do a little bit of everything. I think he was in our study abroad program more than any player that we have, and that's great. But he had a lot of diverse interests, and now it's the number one most important thing for him is developing his craft as a football player and helping Notre Dame win. And we saw that. One of the big things for him was to come back and develop a pass rush, and you can see here by the video, he developed it very well. Mike Elston's done a great job with him, but you know, just the physicality that he plays with, a great motor. And when I say a great motor, he just doesn't stop. He keeps playing, and with his size at 6'5", 310 pounds, he's pretty overwhelming. Here's a great strip sack, and with 4 sacks against, you know, a pretty good offensive line, he put himself in a position where on Tuesday, we had more scouts at practice than I can remember in a long time. So he got everybody's attention by the way he played there on Saturday.
And for those of you listening, Coach is referring to the videos that we show here inside O'Rourke's, and you can watch on WatchND and on the archive show as well. And you said 310 pounds. He doesn't look that heavy because he's in such great shape. And the next level, they are fascinated by his quickness at that size.
Well, that's it, you know, and we moved him to the 3 technique, which just helps him even more. He was a nose guard. Now he's at the 3 technique where his first step quickness is now on display. And he's part of the games, the line games. Before, when he played nose guard, he could never be part of those line games. Now at the 3 technique, he's closer to the defensive end, and he can be part of those line games, and it's showing up on film.
For the last couple of years, you've made it clear you have 2 quarterbacks, that you prepare both quarterbacks. I think some people think that is coach speak, but I think it's been proven by the way Ian came in against Wake Forest in last week and the way he performed last week, 24 of 33, 278 yards, 4 touchdowns. He has not thrown an interception this year. He's been on the Davey O'Brien Award, and that's right. You can turn to me on the sideline Saturday if it happens and say you're not flying back with us. He's on the Davey O'Brien Award weekly grade 8 for the 2nd straight week. He was named the Maxwell Award Player of the Week, the Manning Award Star of the Week. We talked with him last night. I interviewed him for the radio network as well, and I can assure everybody, it hadn't gone to his head. He thinks he's doing well. He expected to do well, and he thinks he can get better.
Yeah, I really like the way he handles himself, and you know, level-headed, always, you know, in our meetings at night after dinner, he comes up, he's watching film, still asking questions about certain things. This week against Virginia Tech, you know, Bud Foster gives you a myriad of different defensive looks, and, you know, it's a challenge for him. And he takes it as he loves the challenge. He relishes that opportunity. He doesn't look at it as, oh my goodness, this is too much. He loves that. And so you as a coach, it's like that captive student, right? Who really wants to learn and is excited about, math. If you're the math teacher, he just is excited about football and learning football. So fun to coach. And like I said, I think the more he plays, the easier the game comes to him.
And, of course, I'm sure folks are wondering about the relationship between Ian and Brandon, and they always say they're great friends. But I saw it Saturday night, one of the drives where you didn't score. Ian was over on the phone to the booth upstairs to the coaches, and right next to him was Brandon. And when the phone call ended, Brandon got right with him as they discussed things. They both want to start, but the thing they care about most, and this isn't just fan speak, coach speak, PR speak, is they just want to win.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've had multiple quarterback situations. For it to work, you have to have two people to make it work. It doesn't work just one way. It can't be one great guy who is unselfish. You have to have two guys that are selfless and about the team. And we have two guys, and that's Ian Book and Brandon Wimbush, that are selfless and truly about the team first. And, that makes us better because they really are trying to work with each other as one to be better. And Brandon's over there giving him insight. And Ian did the same thing for Brandon when he was playing. So it's, it's pretty incredible that we have two kids like that. We've seen it when it didn't work quite as well. And this is refreshing.
And certainly Saturday night there will be shots of Brandon on the sidelines again. And it came up last week, and I thought you explained it so well in the press conference, some insinuating at the Wake Forest game, well, he doesn't have a headset on. Yeah. He's not engaged. And there is, in fact, a specific reason for that and a process that you went through as a coaching staff in what you want them doing on the sidelines.
Yeah, we want them to be engaged in the game, get a sense and feel for what's happening on the sideline. And they can be talking, and when you have that headset on, you lose kind of that awareness of what's going on because it just tunes you out.
And there's lots of voices on there, too. Talk about lots of stuff.
There's too much stuff going on, right? You're talking about, well, we should have done this, and it's really not a place for them to be. We tried just the earbud, which is a one-way feed, and they just can't hear. We don't have the technology to give them the kind of feed that we need. So it's just a good situation. He stays involved. He's active on the sideline, and it's a good situation for us.
We have lots of questions from our audience here and fans across the country, and we'll get to some of those fan questions right after this first time out. The Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House.
We know you like football. So do we. We're TireRack.com, and this is our version of a 2-minute drill, except it's only 30 seconds. TireRack.com has an enormous selection of tires. Not sure which ones to buy? Use our tire decision guide to find the right tires for your vehicle and the way you drive. Then get them shipped fast and free on all orders over $50. Shipping is in as little as 1 day. Free. TireRack.com ships to independent, recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Touchdown!
Hey there, ESPN's Neil Everett here telling you how to win big. Score a trip to NYC or a Nissan Titan. Go to nissanusa.com/Titan sweepstakes. Build your Titan, choose your school colors, then register for your chance to win today.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics. No purchase necessary. Ends 11/10/18. Open to legal residents of the 50 U.S. and D.C. 18 and older. To enter in for official rules, visit nissanusa.com/Titan sweepstakes.
At St. Joseph Health System, every hand held, every story told, every tear shed, smile shared, and spirit lifted stays in our hearts forever. We're blessed because every day we get to make a difference in people's lives. To learn more, visit sjmed.com. St. Joseph Health System. We are called to care for you.
Want entertainment designed just for you? Then check out customizable streaming TV from Xfinity. It makes your life simple, easy, awesome.
Xfinity gives you customizable streaming TV options. Enjoy the most free shows anywhere on any device, and even access your streaming apps right on your TV with X1. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today to learn more. Restrictions apply.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House. Fans, home or away, experience the action live with tickets from Vivid Seats, the official ticket marketplace of the Fighting Irish. Visit vividseats.com/UND today to buy and sell your tickets. Vivid Seats helps you see more and sit closer all season long at vividseats.com/UND. And, of course, our audience questions always presented by the experts at TireRack.com, and we have some questions sent in by the Tire Rack Internet portal today. This one comes from J.D. Feaster, Lafayette, Indiana. Dear Coach, since there are a lot of NFL teams in the cold weather states with outdoor stadiums, do you ever use the cold weather in South Bend as a positive for recruits, especially the recruits coming up from the southern states?
I like this guy. We're going to get him on the recruiting staff.
Yeah.
You know, we do kind of say it in a sense that, look, if the Green Bay Packers were to pick you as the number one pick.
I've heard you say this.
We have prepared you adequately for the inclement weather.
Minnesota's back outside.
Minnesota's outside.
New England's outside.
And we know that it gets cold up there as well. So we do kind of throw that out there, but we get it used way more against us.
Yes.
You know, we were talking about Jerry Tillery about being from Louisiana. I remember there was about a 2-week straight period of time in February that LSU was sending the weather report from South Bend to him while we were recruiting him. So it's used against us more than we use it for us.
I don't know. It's awfully hot and sticky down there.
Well, he saw it as an opportunity to do other things than worry about the weather.
And which he does and will continue to do. Kristen Humble has sent us in a question. I love the dominant mentality that the team seems to be playing with. You can see it even watching on television, that they believe they are the best. Obviously, this mindset comes from their leadership. What key actions are necessary to have your players adapt this mentality? Yeah,
well, it's a good question. It's, we have a sports performance coach, Dr. Amber Latner, who has a lot to do with that. And then all of our coaches are part of that tree in terms of, building a mental performance game for our football team. And so it's really making sure that the steps are taken on a day-to-day basis with our team that talk about how to prepare the right way. In other words, getting into the optimal zone, making sure that they are controlling the things that they can control, and then coming up with a mindset that is about absolutely dominating your opponent. And so we've been working on it for this is our second year now. So we're in our second year of really developing that kind of mindset with our football team. And I think we're starting to see the dividends, starting to pay off, quite well with our football team.
Fast Eddie's watching again out in Mesa, Arizona on Watch ND. How pleased were you in seeing the dominant fourth quarter turned in by the entire team and being able to literally run out the final 6 minutes of the game?
Yeah, those are the things you're looking for to, start fast, which we did, right? Play with, an attention to detail, no turnovers, great effort, great enthusiasm, and then finish strong. We had not done that, as you know. One of the big things is that we had been outscored considerably in the fourth quarter, and then we held Stanford to 8 plays in the fourth quarter and really dominated our opponent in the fourth quarter. So, putting that game together, the last 2 weeks, Wake Forest and then Stanford, we started to complement our defense. Our offense was complementing our defense, and then add special teams to that. This is the first time that all 3 phases were beginning to complement each other, and I think you saw that in the fourth quarter.
I mean, not only was Stanford ranked higher than you, where they were coming off a come-from-behind road win at Oregon, they drilled USC, and yet in that entire second half, which started with the first defensive possession, forcing a 3-and-out from Stanford, you outgained Stanford in the second half last Saturday, 243 yards to 31, and you held them to minus 13 in the fourth quarter.
That's, I'd say that's dominant. That's a dominant performance. Yeah, I don't think it gets, yeah.
Oh, and it wasn't easy because, I'm around a lot now, and you were emphasizing that defense, even in the early weeks when they were making huge plays at key times, that it wasn't good enough because down the stretch they were giving up too many yards, giving up points, and at some point, if they didn't fix that, it was going to burn them.
Yeah, so the first 4 or 5 weeks we had been talking, 4 weeks I guess it would have been, that we still weren't finishing defensively. I think where the change began to occur was that we were giving them energy now from an offensive perspective by putting points on the board. So I think what allowed them to finish it off was that they had now confidence that the offense was going to put points on the board as well.
Nathan Sagans here from Granger, comes every week. Coach, first of all, congratulations on the big win. After a win like that, do you take any personal time to celebrate and enjoy the win?
Yeah, we don't have much time. By the time I do spend time in the locker room with the team, I do the post-game show with you. Mm-hmm. I do NBC. Then I do the press conference.
And this week you did ESPN?
I did ESPN. And by the time I get home, it's 12:30, 1:45. Maybe I get a chance to say hi to the family a little bit. It's 2:30. And we've got to be back in at 9 a.m. to start breaking down film.
Well, and you had a ton of recruits in this week. How many of those did you meet with on Sunday?
That's right. I met with 8 recruits on Sunday. So it's pretty busy. So it's right back at it. You don't have much time to enjoy it. I'll enjoy it, when we're in the playoffs and winning a national championship. That's when you enjoy them the most. That's the time.
Dustin Zachary's here from Mishawaka. Coach, what was the greatest strength or a highlight from practice this week?
I just think that the guys are starting to embrace the fact that there's still a long way to go. I mean, we've got a long way to go. And I mean, that might sound strange, but there's so much more football ahead of us.
Well, hopefully 8 more games.
No, I mean in terms of each day and each practice and each opponent. Like, we're not even close to on the other side of this. We've got to be on the road 4 out of 5 weeks in November. Yeah. So there's just so much more football ahead of us that we just have to take this, one day at a time. And I like the fact that they're not getting ahead of themselves, and they know that this is a grind and this is a marathon, and we just got to just stay in the moment and take it one day at a time. That was a good sign this week for me.
Kevin Morrison's here from Granger with a rules question. Would you be in favor of having, well, actually an officiating question, of having NCAA officials instead of conference officials?
100% in favor of that, no doubt. We've seen 3 sets of officials that I'll give you an example. This weekend's crew, they would not stop about pulling the pants down over the knees. I mean, it was crazy to the point where I had to tell one of the officials, listen, we got it. We understand. We're big boys. We will dress appropriately. Please officiate the game, okay? Let it go. I will tell your supervisor of officials that you have told me on a number of occasions that the knees are not quite fully covered with the knee pad. Move on, please, will you? For crying out loud. And then he loses sight of, a first down, right? Because he's worried about a knee pad. And then the following week or the preceding week, they didn't even talk about that. It's just, if we could get a coalition and everybody under the same roof and everybody talking in the same language, I think it would eliminate, especially for us, because we're independent, right? Mm-hmm. So we're getting different crews. We're getting Big Ten, Pac-12, ACC. We're going to get AAC. It just changes from week to week. It would benefit us greatly.
And I've talked with coaches, I've talked with officials, media folks about it. To me, it's always been a fear by conferences to give up control. Because they're evaluated by their conference officials. And I've always thought, and I'm not saying that officials are corrupt, but if it's a bang-bang play, and if you go one way, you go to the Independence Bowl, and if you go the other way, you might go to the Rose Bowl to officiate Rose Bowl. So do you talk about this at coaches' conventions and whatnot? What is the feel of conference coaches that you are close to, have a good relationship with? Would they like to see completely neutral officials, or do they kind of like that security of knowing who's out on the field?
I think it's brought up in our head coaches meetings, but it's difficult because you're dealing with conferences and getting all of those conferences together. It's athletic directors and presidents really that have to really get that thing moving more than anything else. So we voiced our situation in terms of how we would like it to be. There are some that are now aligning with each other in a more consolidated fashion. I know, like, some of the smaller conferences, the Mid-American Conference is doing what the Big Ten does, but you don't have like the ACC, associating with the Big Ten or the SEC with the Pac-12. But everybody in the Power Fives are still doing their own thing.
We have lots more audience questions, and the good news is we have a lot more time. It's all Coach Kelly all the time on this week's show. Back with more right after this.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Look, I don't think Dallas wants Dez barking in Dak's ear. That's what they meant by a more Dak-friendly offense. I really believe that from everything that I've heard, that they do not want Dez back there and making Dak think that he needs to throw him the ball and force feed him the ball, although they need playmakers. And if Dez Bryant still has the playmaking ability, they need that in the worst way.
The Rich Eisen Show. Weekdays at 4 on the Sports Leader, 96.1. WSBT.
Mishawaka Cavemen fans, join me, Sean Stiers, and Mishawaka Athletic Director Dean Hubbard every Monday at 7 for Caveman Corner, live from Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill.
What maybe is the most challenging offense that you've seen this year?
Definitely probably New Prairie. A whole 9 lineman, 2 running back scheme is unique.
That's Caveman Corner, live every Monday at 7 from Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill. Brought to you by Midland Engineering, Legacy Heating and Air, the Mishawaka Education Foundation, School City of Mishawaka, Thor Industries, and Kevin Putz of First Midwest Mortgage.
Honey, isn't it amazing?
What?
The sacrifice, the dedication, the grit. I mean, they really set an example, don't they?
Oh, well, no question. Today's high school athletes are truly special.
Not the athletes.
Well, who?
The officials.
Oh.
Today's student athletes are truly special. But there's something pretty great about the men and women who officiate their games, too. Like the way they're giving back to their communities. Officiating is a terrific way to stay in shape, meet new people, and stay connected to the game you love. But the biggest reason of all? We need more qualified high school officials here in Indiana. And without them, the rest of us would have a whole lot less to cheer about. High school games need officials. High school sports need you.
Great call, Ralph!
Yeah!
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
Now it's easier than ever for you to reach out to WSBT Radio, especially if your nonprofit group, organization, or church has an upcoming activity. Let us know by going to WSBTradio.com. Click on the community button at the top of the page and fill out the form, and we'll let everyone know about your event. Now it's easier than ever to publicize your events and partner with WSBT Radio. We know we're all in this community together, so let's work together. Contact us today at WSBTradio.com.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House. Tonight's Brian Kelly Radio Show is brought to you by TireRack.com, revolutionizing tire buying since 1979, so you know they've got their game plan down. Their team of experts help you find, deliver, and install using a playbook full of their very own test results and consumer ratings and reviews that make buying a new set of tires as easy as the quarterback sneak. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be, and you don't have to go online. I actually replaced the tires in my car at their facility over on the west side last year, and they do it quite efficiently. So we are back with Coach Kelly. Michael J. Lynch is here from South Bend. Coach, do you use other brands of footballs on the defense in practice? In other words, do you use the football that the other team uses in practice?
No, we don't. What would be the usefulness of that? That would be my question.
I think it comes from basketball teams do because they have to shoot it and they rotate somewhat different. I don't think there's that much difference between footballs. I think that was the question.
Yeah, I mean, I think from our standpoint, the football itself, our guys are going to intercept it or try to strip it loose. It's really not going to be much for our guys, except for our scout team guy maybe a little bit. But, no, we use the same footballs.
Brandon List here from South Bend, as he always is. How did Tony Jones practice this week? That's one. He has two big questions. That's his first question.
Yep. He did well. It wasn't a major ankle sprain. It wasn't a high ankle sprain like Cole Kmet. So he handled it well and practiced all week.
And his other question, which I didn't touch on in the first segment because I knew it would come up, how will you replace Alex Bars on the offensive line?
Well, he's not really easy to replace. I mean, here's a stalwart on our offensive line and a great leader, that really is I just feel terrible about losing a guy like that comes back for his fifth year and just a captain for us. So it's going to be difficult to replace him. But Trevor Rulin now will have to come in and play at a high level, and that's the expectations when we have an next man in, is that he's obligated to play at a high level. So Trevor will play there and start. I think you might even see Aaron Banks play a little bit in that position. So we think we've got two really good players. But I don't know that you ever replace a veteran leader like Alex Bars.
Trevor, not quite as big, maybe a little quicker, but when talking with him, what I like about him is he seems to have the perfect personality to embrace this responsibility.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think he does. He understands the importance of it. He understands the kind of play that is required at that position. And he's really smart. He was an offensive center and really is. And so he knows the offensive line play, and he can really be helpful with Liam Eichenberg, who's a first-time starter at left tackle. So, we get a veteran in a sense with knowledge of our offensive line.
Lisa Morrison's here from Granger. She does have a rules question. Coach, would you be in favor of moving the snap for the PAT back to the 15-yard line?
For the PATs?
Yeah.
I don't know that I would in college. I don't know that the kickers are as developed as they are in the NFL. Remember now, in the NFL, those kids or those guys, all they do is kick. Our kids go to class. They've got other things that are going on. So they're not quite as developed as they are in the NFL, where it became, 96%? Yeah. The numbers don't match. So I think we're good where it is.
Kyle Roberts from Osceola has another Alex Bars question. With Alex Bars injured, how is the morale on the offensive line this week?
Oh, I think the morale's fine. I mean, they feel for Alex, individually, but as a group, I think the morale is very high. They're excited about the opportunity that this presents for other guys. Sam Mustapher is a captain and a leader. He's going to keep the morale high. But it's a close-knit group. They went to work this week as a unit, and they work as a unit. So, and they know that one individual is not greater than the sum. They've done a nice job this week. They'll miss Alex, but Alex knows that they've got a job to do, and they'll get it done.
And Alex was there every day. In fact, you had a drill of some kind yesterday where you said, everybody gets a rep, and he yelled, including Alex.
Yeah, Alex was there, and he's going to be part of what we do every single day. He'll get surgery next week. After the surgery, he'll be traveling with us, so he'll be part of our football team.
Of course, he's on a cart right now. So
yeah, he's on a big cart.
Jerry Liss is here from South Bend. Coach, do you like the band Metallica?
I really didn't know many of their songs, and I only know one right now. It's called Enter Sandman, and I know it all too well. I want to hear it one more time, and then after that I could do without hearing it ever again.
It's by folks who are at practice this week. It is starting to get right up there with the USC fight song in terms of indigestion created by those who are listening to it.
It's loud. I can tell you that. We had it up over 100 decibels.
115 decibels.
Yeah, it was pretty loud.
And it sounded louder today. Jason Nicholson told me that's because there was no wind.
Yeah, and we have, the new building going up is bouncing those sound waves and keeping them right in there. So
and you moved the offense to that field closest to the building, too.
Yeah, why not, right? Make it even louder. So it was pretty intense. We have no excuses. We didn't, I thought we did a really good job. I was really pleased with the way our guys handled themselves with the moment, and they won't have any issues with it. They're well prepared for it. I'm not going to say that they won't have something happen, but they're well prepared to deal with the environment.
You guys couldn't do it, players couldn't do it, but when I attended practice this week, I put in earplugs. That's how loud it was. It was really, and it was still loud with earplugs. So if you made anything louder, you would have had ear damage. That's how loud it was.
I can tell you this: we got numerous complaints. So I was doing my job.
Louis Briskowski Jr. is here from Mishawaka. Coach, do pass receivers wearing gloves really help them? It seems like bare hands would sense the ball better.
I think each individual has something to say about that. I think there are some guys that really want to feel the ball in their hands. But I think if you look at baseball, right, where, years past, nobody wore a batting glove, right? Everybody just wanted to feel the wood in their hands. Today, they've got thumb splints on. They've got batting gloves. And so I just think it's part of where we are today in the sense that those gloves actually make a difference. There's enough there that they feel like they gain more control with the gloves than if they don't have the gloves on.
And they're pretty high-tech. I put some of them on, and you, in fact, can still feel the football through those gloves.
And I guess maybe that's the point, is that they have become such a high-tech material that you get the feel as well as the ability to maybe grip it a little better.
More questions for Coach Kelly coming up right after this timeout on the Brian Kelly Radio Show, presented by our friends at TireRack.com.
Join us at O'Rourke's Public House, home of the Brian Kelly Radio Show, to cheer on the Fighting Irish before, during, and after all home games. O'Rourke's Irish decor, delicious menu items, and wide variety of beer selections are sure to enhance your game day experience. Open at 8 a.m. on game days, you can watch Saturday's college football action on any of O'Rourke's 15 TVs, including a 92-inch projector screen. O'Rourke's Public House, located directly across from Notre Dame Stadium at the corner of Angela and Eddy Street in the Eddy Street Commons Center.
The two most recognized names in orthopedic and sports medicine have teamed up to form Ascendant Orthopedic Alliance. South Bend Orthopedics and OSMC are now Ascendant Orthopedic Alliance, offering patients access to more than 40 physicians in 7 state-of-the-art locations with no referral required. As one entity, they will collaborate with a broader group, sharing experiences and ideas so you'll receive the best care possible. Although Ascendant Orthopedic Alliance is a new name, they're still committed to the community they've served for over 70 years. For more information, visit ascendantortho.org.
If your superpower is making pizza disappear, then you've got to try Papa John's new Italian Hero Pizza. Featuring a creamy Italian sauce covered with epic portions of pepperoni, salami, Roma tomatoes, onions, banana peppers, and topped with 4 delicious cheeses. It's like an Italian Hero sandwich on a pizza. Get a large Italian Hero Pizza for just $10. Download the app or order at papajohns.com. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Prices and participation may vary. Taxes, tip, and delivery fee extra.
Life doesn't come with a financial roadmap. It does come with a lot of bumps and red lights. Steering clear of those doesn't have to be difficult. With First Source Bank's online money management tools, you can see all your financial accounts, balances, and transactions in one place, so you can easily set monthly budgets to help manage expenses and debt. Get the green light to a successful financial future with First Source's money management tools. First Source Bank, where better is better. Member FDIC.
We are back. The Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House. Nice crowd on hand here tonight, and that is the secret, especially for Irish fans that live in this area. These, in some ways, are the more enjoyable shows because the place isn't breaking at the seams. You get your questions asked, and it's easier to hear a little bit. So, regrettably, I guess it's great to front-load your schedule with home games. We got a lot of road game shows coming up.
There's going to be a ton of them.
Yeah, because you're on the road a lot.
2 times in California.
I know. It's too bad you don't get actually the frequent flyer miles.
Yeah, well, our players are excited because, it's, October, and we had an 80-degree weather day. Next week we're going to have the 80s. They'll get a bye week, and then we'll go to November, and they'll have 2 games in California. So they're pretty excited right now. They think the weather's turned for the better here in South Bend.
Well, it is glorious. It's going to be 80s again next week, heading into the Pitt game. But we are not looking ahead past what's going on this weekend. But this is a little bit different question from Mary Jane Bukowski from Mishawaka. She enjoyed exercising at the Pink Out with your wife on Monday night. It was great to see her bring awareness to the issue of women's health. And we had not had Paki on for a couple of years, but Kelly Care's still going strong.
And you know it. You've been a gracious host of our event in New York City. But they had the Zumba in the stadium. Record attendance, over 1,000 for that. Not to mention, obviously, all the events that we do through the month of October from our road race to Playbook of Hope. But Paki does a number of different events. Certainly Football 101 she continues to do great things with awareness for women's health, and that was just another great event in the stadium.
And, of course, that is focused at women, but Zumba's quite a workout. Without getting into a story no one wants to hear, my wife convinced me to do it once on a cruise ship, and other guys at the table were making some fun. I challenged them to go out there, and it can kick your rear end if it's done correctly.
Well, it was the pink outfit that you had on, Jack. That's what she was referring to.
Fortunately, they didn't make you wear the pink outfit. Chuck Sossman's here from Granger, as he always is. Please talk a little bit about the defensive challenge that Virginia Tech poses.
Well, they do a really good job, I think, in terms of wanting to run the football first and foremost. So really creative in terms of their run schemes, pull plays, counter plays, misdirection. They were a team that really featured the quarterback in the run game. Now with him out, Ryan Willis has done a really good job throwing the football. I think they're as equally dangerous now in terms of throwing the football down the field. They had 8 big plays, throwing it to the tight end on the screen to 4 verticals down the field. They've got big receivers, Hazelton, one of them who's done a great job. So, they've got great balance, I think, when you talk about their offense, their ability to run the football and then push the ball vertically. Big play opportunities is what you have to eliminate out of this offense.
Tom Hensler, always here from Houston. In fact, he has his fencing national championship ring with him tonight, so we congratulate him on that. Coach, have we changed the way we practice the week before away games this year from last year?
No. We beat BC and North Carolina to start the year, and certainly those were good wins. We hadn't won away against a Power 5 team, so our routine was pretty good there. Obviously, the environment, we didn't play very well against Miami. And then the end of the year against Stanford, I think we all know that, that's always a tough game playing on Thanksgiving weekend, and we just turned the football over. So
you had the lead going in the fourth quarter. People forget that.
So the preparation is really not – that was execution on game day more than anything else. The only difference here is that we had to get on the grass, and we had to, get on the grass field. So our soccer team was very kind enough to let us get on their practice field, and because we don't have a grass field right now with the new facility going up. So we spent some time on the grass field, so that was a little bit different in terms of our preparation.
And obviously, and I think Tom was alluding to this, the Miami game, and there's so much publicity about the pregame pomp and circumstance and noise and the long march that Virginia Tech makes into their stadium. I think it's one of the reasons the game is kicking off at 8:21 p.m. because I'm sure ABC is going to cover that whole thing. But we've already talked a lot about what you've done at practice to create the chaos. But you coach smart guys, and the ones I talked to, you really didn't have to say a word this week. They are well aware of what happened in Miami, and they are steadfast, and they've learned they will not allow that. They are ready for that. And whatever impact it may have had, they won't allow that impact again. If they lose, it will be because Virginia Tech played better, but it won't be because it's loud.
That's true. That is true. And when all Enter Sandman and all that stuff happens, we'll be praying at that time. So you can't interrupt us during a prayer. So we'll be focused on praying. And that's true. When they're doing all that, we're in the locker room. Yeah. So So as that's all being, all that theatrics is going on, our guys already know what it is. So they won't be up going, what's going on out there? We already know what it is, So they've seen it. We've shown them a video of what it looks like. So there's no wonderment about what's going on out there. We'll do our normal business, get ready, and run out of our locker room to our sideline and go play.
Of course, it is a later kickoff, 8:21. Won't impact this game. It does start that cumulative impact, though, because the plane's going. If you're on time, the plane's going to land at 3:30 Sunday morning at South Bend's Airport, which gives you, so you get back here at 4. That's tough on everybody, players and coaches. Dean would like to know, with a late game, how do you keep the players' routine somewhat normal?
Yeah, so this gets a little more difficult. So we have to be very cognizant of how we handle them on Monday and Tuesday. We go into a bye week after this week, but getting this game, winning, beating Virginia Tech, obviously, that's our focus right now. And then, I've got to gauge and measure where we are and make sure that our football team is prepared the following week, because then we get a bit of a break before we head out to San Diego to play Navy. So, again, take care of business this week, and then I'll gauge where we are as a football team and make the appropriate necessary changes to our schedule.
More audience questions for Coach Kelly right after this timeout. The Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from Brooks Public House.
Hi, this is Doug Leckleitner. When your garage door quits working, Leckleitner can fix it fast. Call 295-6311. Want to improve the look of your home? Try a new garage door. Call Leckleitner at 295-6311. Need service or installation on a commercial, industrial, or agricultural door? Call Leckleitner at 295-6311. When you need same-day service, Leckleitner Door can deliver. Leckleitner Door, sales and service. We open all the right doors. Call us at 295-6311.
Eddy Street Commons at Notre Dame invites you to dine, shop, enjoy. Just south of campus, Eddy Street Commons has specialty shops like Urban Outfitters, Nicholas J. Salon, Kilwin's Chocolates, and Hammis Bookstore. If you're looking for a delicious dining destination, consider one of Eddy Street's many eateries. O'Rourke's, Barbici, Brothers Bar and Grill, and now open is Livery. That's Eddy Street Commons at Notre Dame. Follow them on Facebook. For details on upcoming events and special offers, visit eddycommons.com.
Gulfstream Coach. We're looking for a few exceptional trainees for our first shift who are eager to learn, can function in a fast-paced environment, and want to learn the RV business. We're a family-owned business and offer amazing health insurance, attendance bonuses, and paid vacation time. Call us at 800-289-8787. That's 800-289-8787. Or apply online at GulfstreamCoach.com. That's GulfstreamCoach.com. You could be just what we're looking for. Apply today.
Kurt Outdoor Living wants to help you transform your yard into a dream come true. Kurt can deliver bulk hardwood mulch in a variety of colors and textures safe for plants and animals. Dreaming of a new outdoor kitchen? The professionals at Kurt Outdoor Living can help you from planning to purchase to install. Visit their outdoor showroom to see the wide variety of patio pavers, retaining walls, fire features, grills, outdoor kitchen appliances, arbors, and awnings. 2129 West Wilden Avenue in Goshen. KurtOutdoorLiving.com.
One-day bus trip is going to Frankenmuth, Michigan with Cardinal Buses and Jaworski's Meat Market on Sunday, October 7th. For decades, Frankenmuth has been known for chicken and Christmas. And it's no wonder with Bronner's, the world's largest Christmas store. You can enjoy the Frankenmuth Auto Fest show in Heritage Park, shop at any of their many stores, and get a bite to eat. Relax while on Cardinal Buses and receive a $10 certificate from Jaworski's Meat Market, all for only $49. So visit OneDayBusTrip.com to get your tickets to Frankenmuth on Sunday, October 7th.
The Brian Kelly Radio Show is brought to you by TireRack.com. While we're talking running, passing, and kicking, the experts at Tire Rack have cornering, traction, and performance of a different kind on their minds. That's why you'll be able to get your tires right at TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Beth Hensler is here with one of those existential questions. Coach, if you weren't a football coach, is there another sport you would like to have coached?
Like to have coached.
You did coach another.
Yeah, I
sport.
coached softball, women's softball. I was really good at it too. I think I had more ladies thrown out at home plate than anybody in the history of. Just go.
At that time, you were
Keep
modeling
going.
it off to the Red Sox, who used to have a lot of people thrown out at home plate as well.
I really never given it much thought. It'd have to have been maybe something fast-paced, roller derby. I'd love to be a roller derby. Is there a coach, JK? Is there a roller derby coach? Not sure.
See, I remember it was on Channel 38 in Boston, roller derby,
no
on
doubt.
Saturdays.
No doubt.
It was just when there were fewer choices on TV, you would watch almost anything, and that was one of the things.
It was either that or you have to go up and change the channel physically.
To Candlepins for Cash.
That's right. That's why you left it on.
Chuck Sossman is here from Granger. Great win, consistent, complete game. Hey, why not bring Beth Rex onto the show?
You know, we've thought about Beth Rex on the show, but, you know, she's hard to book. She is so popular.
Busy.
Yeah, she does so many different things, and she always wants a retainer fee to be paid. So it's hard to get her on the show. We'll see what we can do. Maybe if she waives her fee, we can get her on one of these days.
Well, and see, that's an actual question. I did not. So Beth wants that. I didn't throw that in there. That's an actual question.
Yeah.
Another internet question for you, Coach, from Carlo DiCarlo. Could you be so kind as to elaborate what role, if any, does analytics play in the Notre Dame football program?
It is part of what we do. So analytics in particular would have something to do with timeouts, when to use them, penalties. For example, a penalty on defense, for example, if do you take the penalty and go 1st and 15, or do you go 2nd and 5? You know, in other words, do you move them back, or do you take the down? Those are analytics that are factored out based upon how much time is left in the game, what the score is, and where it is in terms of field position. So all of those are crunched by who the opponent is, what time of the game, what the score is. That's one example. What are the go for it on 4th down, where you are on the field, who you're playing again, what time in the game. Those are all analytics that are all pre-calculated prior to the game.
We've talked about the challenges of the Virginia Tech offense. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show by talking about the Virginia Tech defense and the keys to the game. But first, this final timeout. The Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House.
We know you like football. So do we. We're TireRack.com, and this is our version of a 2-minute drill, except it's only 30 seconds. TireRack.com has an enormous selection of tires. Not sure which ones to buy? Use our tire decision guide to find the right tires for your vehicle and the way you drive. Then get them shipped fast and free on all orders over $50. Shipping is in as little as 1 day. Free. TireRack.com ships to independent, recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Touchdown!
Join us at O'Rourke's Public House, home of the Brian Kelly Radio Show, to cheer on the Fighting Irish before, during, and after all home games. O'Rourke's Irish decor, delicious menu items, and wide variety of beer selections are sure to enhance your game day experience. Open at 8 a.m. on game days, you can watch Saturday's college football action on any of O'Rourke's 15 TVs, including a 92-inch projector screen. O'Rourke's Public House, located directly across from Notre Dame Stadium at the corner of Angela and Eddy Street in the Eddy Street Commons Center.
At West Bend, we like to say the worst brings out our best. So if something bad happens to your home, your car, your boat, motorcycle, or personal possessions, a West Bend home and highway policy will cover it all with one agent, one policy, and one bill. Not to mention one deductible. And if you don't file a claim all year, we'll give you some of your money back. Even your wallet can have a silver lining. To find out more, go to thesilverlining.com.
Fighting Irish fans, don't miss your chance to experience the action live with tickets from Vivid Seats, the official ticket marketplace of the Fighting Irish. Visit vividseats.com/UND today to buy and sell tickets to any event. Home games, on the road, even sold-out games, no problem. And every transaction is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee. Vivid Seats lets you see more and sit closer all season long. Support the Fighting Irish with tickets from the official ticket marketplace, Vivid Seats. Available now at vividseats.com/UND. Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show. As promised, Tech defensive coordinator Bud Foster is known one of the best in the country for his lunch pail defense. Why are his defenses so good?
aggressive, first and foremost, and lunch pail in the sense that they've got this kind of toughness to them. Check in and get after it. But I think it's much more about their physicality, their pressures. They've always had that kind of demeanor under Coach Foster. They just do so many things too.
That's it. Schematically, they're hard to prepare for.
They're hard to prepare for. They're doing something different. So if you watch them last week, they were dropping 8 into coverage. The week before, there was nobody dropping. There was 8 blitzing. So you're getting such a different look from week to week. So he forces you to prepare for a lot and makes it very difficult on most offenses.
I mean, you and I shared a chuckle earlier this week because this happens when any Notre Dame team travels on the road. They always seem to do special stuff. And so this weekend, Virginia Tech is unveiling a statue of their legendary coach, Frank Beamer, who will be at the game. Beamer ball, though, still very much a part of this program under Justin Fuente. And Beamer ball is a lot of non-offensive touchdowns, a lot of block kicks, and they've already blocked a punt for a touchdown. They did it in their opener against Florida State. Yeah,
it's still part of who they are and their personality, and Frank Beamer is well deserving of the notification or the honor. The honor, thank you, and the statue. So I think you can still see it in their special teams because they're so aggressive still. But Justin Fuentes has done a really good job. I think he's kept the Virginia Tech kind of model of who they are. And I think he's made them better offensively. I think that's probably the difference. You still got Bud Foster. You still see Beamer ball, but I think the offense is probably a tick better than maybe it had been in the last 5 years under Frank.
Oh, and it's always hard to follow a legend as Fuente has, and he had more wins in his first 2 years than any other first-time Virginia Tech head coach, which, again, he inherited a good program, but he didn't mess it up.
No,
in some ways making it better.
No, I think he has, and I applaud him for, he's lost a lot of players too, and he hasn't complained about it. He's taken what he has. He lost a lot of guys to the NFL. He's dismissed some really good players from his program too. So
probably his best defensive end.
His best defensive end. So I think he's done a really, really good job, and he's going to continue to build that program to where they're going to compete for ACC championships.
So what are your keys?
We have to take care of the football, which is each and every week, and we've done a good job the last few weeks, and we'll continue to do that. They feed off of your turnovers, and certainly that environment would obviously mean that you can't do that. You've got to take care of the football. Run the football and find a way. It's hard to because they have so many at the line of scrimmage, but for us, carve out a way to get some running game. And then defensively, eliminate explosive plays. We've got to eliminate the explosive plays. Take care of the football, eliminate explosive plays, be clean in the special teams game, and we'll win the football game.
Staying in Roanoke with the team tomorrow. I know you want the team to focus. You want them to rest. You will get them up and move them around on Saturday morning.
Yeah, we'll do our normal routine for a late game on Saturday night. We'll get them up, move them at a local high school. It's important to do that. We have so much time during the afternoon. I think it's important to get them up and break the day up a little bit. But they'll be ready to go, and we'll stay with the same routine that we've had for the Stanford game and certainly for the Michigan game.
Well, if the team puts forth the same effort you did for the last 60 minutes, they're in good shape.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Jack. Thanks for coming out, everybody.
Thanks, folks. Airtime, 8 o'clock on ABC and the Notre Dame Football Radio Network Saturday night. Until then, good night, everybody, and go Irish.
This is the Brian Kelly Radio Show at O'Rourke's Public House, presented by Team Notre Dame.